Today I'm going to show you how to add paper mache onto your cardboard sculptures. Step 1 is to create a cardboard sculpture. I decided to make a piece of pie and some ice cream. Now that I'm using paper mache, I can do something cool, which is make curved or round things by crumpling up newspaper and taping it into place. So to make the crust of my pie, I decided just to rip off a piece of the newspaper and place it on the edge there. Because it's rounded, I didn't want to make it out of cardboard. I'm not worried about the tape showing because I'm going to cover that with the paper mache. I'd like my plate of pie to have a scoop of ice cream next to it, and I'm going to do that by crumpling up newspaper into a ball. Once I have the size and shape that I like, making sure that it fits. Oh, it's actually too big, so I'm going to take one of these away. That's better fit. Once I have the size and shape that I like, I can put some tape on it to make sure it stays into place, and then I'm going to tape it down to my plate. One detail I'm going to add to make this look more like ice cream than just a lump is the little rim around the side as if it's slightly melted. So if I need to cut my paper to make sure it fits around, it's not too thick, I can do whatever I need to the newspaper and make sure everything is taped into place. Now it's time to use the new material, paper mache. Everything you need can be found in one of these boxes, the most important material being in that Tupperware there. But you're also going to need some white pieces of paper. I like to use these white papers rather than newspaper because it makes it easier to paint. Okay, open up the Tupperware and you can find what I call goo inside. It's basically a liquidy glue. So you're going to scoop some of that onto your finger and then rub it onto a piece of paper. When rubbing the goo on the paper, make sure to get every piece of it, even the sides and the corners. Then place it onto your sculpture and rub the goo on the outside of it too. Here's a fun trick you can do. Because your finger is sticky, you can stick it in the paper and pick up a piece of paper with just one finger. That's actually a really good way to do it because you don't get goo all over the other papers. And it's also just really fun. When you're all finished, your sculpture should be completely covered in these white pieces of paper covered in goo. The whole thing will be sticky. But what's really cool is when the goo dries, it'll become really hard and it'll make your sculpture harder and more stable. For cleanup, you need to make sure the lid goes back on the goo container, place that back in the bin, place your sculpture on the drying area, and put the paper mache items back. Make sure to wipe the table wherever you are working to get all the goo off of it and wash your hands. The next day, after the goo is completely dry, you can paint it. The paper gives you a paper feeling for painting. It's really easy, and you can add all the details you need with that paint. I guess you could also draw on it with marker if you want, but I prefer painting personally. And now I'm done my paper mache cherry pie.